Good morning. My name is Tessa. I'm a Catholic mom of 4. My family and I are teaching ourselves self-sufficiency, simple homemaking, and intentional living. Well, we did it. We have moved. My sisters think it's hilarious that I refer to this as our move to the country, but that is what it is. And so far we're really enjoying it. We've been here almost a week, and we are still very much in the process of getting unpacked and settled in and accustomed to our new space. Something that I should have anticipated better is the balance that needs to be struck between taking the time to settle in and to unpack and to get organized, and trying to maintain as many of our little scheduled routines and habits that we're trying to keep up. That balance is a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. Mainly with children, I have found that sticking to routines and schedules is very helpful for them to know what's coming next and for them to stay as even keel and happy as possible. And of course, it's important as well to let them experience deviation from a schedule and learn to adapt. But in a time when a lot of things are already fluctuating and there's a lot of change already, I find it's very, very helpful to have things in their day that they expect and that seem normal to them. And it just helps them to get through and adapt to a new place more easily. Of course, this is probably true for all of us, even those of us who are adults. I know that when I know what's coming in my day, I'm able to have a greater sense of calm as I tackle the things that come up unexpectedly. So we're trying to strike that balance here, whether it's meals at certain times, resting times like naps for littles or quiet time for big kids. And we're still working through our first year of homeschooling, so we're trying to do as much as we can to have routine with that as well. As you can see looking at my kitchen or any part of my house, there is a lot left to do in terms of organizing, finding homes for things. Truth be told, I'm still purging. I purged a lot of things, whether it was throwing things away, donating them, selling them. I did a lot of that before we moved and as we packed. But now that we're here, I'm finding more things that I have the freedom to let go of because I know that there is not a place for it in our home now. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Part of me knows that a lot of my mental clarity and sanity will return when I have found a home for all of our things and when there's a designated space for everything that we own so that it can be put back to right more easily. Having clutter on the counters or things just sat in boxes waiting to be unpacked is actually very stressful. Even though I've moved many times before, I've never had this many belongings and this many people's things to take care of and to organize and to mentally catalog. They say that everything in your home is like having inventory in a store, that you need to know where everything is, how much of everything you have, and be able to take care of it. And that is very true. And the idea of keeping a mental log of all of that inventory alone, that is a lot of mental space if you have a lot of things. And that's why I so much enjoy getting rid of things. Clearly, based on the number of things in my home, I also enjoy obtaining things, which I wouldn't know except that there are so many things in my house and I have obtained them. So clearly that's on me. What I really look forward to right now is once everything does have a place where it belongs, and once I've gotten rid of any extras and things that I'm not planning to keep, I look forward to getting back to the steady, normal homemaking tasks that I've been trying to build into habits over the past few years. I know that as I take a break from some of these things, I will be able to get right back to them easily because they are really good routines and habits now. And then there are other things that I just started or that I'm more working on now that I know will be more difficult to get back to the longer I take a break from them. Some of the things that I'm trying to do daily in order to have that balance between mundane little tasks and the unpacking process are making sure to stay on top of doing the laundry and making sure there are clothes for everybody, especially my husband and his work clothes. I'm trying to make sure that the sink is empty and counters are cleared of at least that day's dishes and cookware at the end of the day. If there are things left on the counter in a box or a bag that has just yet to be unpacked, or a space has not been found for those things, then I'm letting that go, but working away at that a little bit at a time each day. I'm making sure that as many meals as possible are cooked at home and that meals are as much as possible on a regular time schedule. Although I will say that our bedtime has been pushed late for this whole transition. The kids have not been in bed before 9:30 probably. It's nice because they sleep in a teeny bit longer in the morning, meaning they're up at 7:15 or 7:30 instead of 6:45 or 7. It's also been an interesting transition because little Vincent had started to sleep in his own space, and right now we do not have a separate space set up for him, so he is in the girls' bedroom and adapting to less quiet, let's say. Um, but he's actually adapted better than I thought he would, so I'm very grateful for that. We did also just pick up a second-hand triple bunk bed for the girls. So we had a bunk bed in our previous home, but it took up a lot of extra room because of how bulky everything was. And aesthetically speaking, I did not like it. The girls liked it. They called it the curly wood because it had swirls and stuff like that. But it was not my favorite. So we ended up selling that, and then we just yesterday picked up a triple bunk bed, and we ordered a third twin mattress for our youngest daughter. So now all three of the girls are in the bunk. They looked forward to that when we said, we think we're going to get a triple bunk bed. It was all they talked about for probably 3 weeks. They're very pleased with that, and it does save a lot of space in the bedroom and gives them more play area, and most important to me, there's just more mental space when your physical space has more room. Moving to 5 acres really shows you how much I value that. We were on 1/6 of an acre in town, and now we're on 5 acres, and just the room for the kids to play alone is tremendous. But I would like to keep those spaces in our home as well. We took a week off from homeschooling for Easter, and we took part of Holy Week before that off as well. And I knew that with moving, we would definitely be taking some time not doing any homeschool work, but we decided to try our hardest to get back into some of our homeschool routines this week, even if it meant doing one task per child, just to get back into those routines. Because, in the same way that it's hard for me to get back to some of my homemaking routines if I take too long of a break, it's difficult to get the girls back to enjoying their lessons. This does make me wonder how I'm going to handle the summer with homeschooling, because I was very much looking forward to just being off for the summer and not doing any homeschooling. But seeing how 3 weeks or less than 3 weeks has been too long of a break for the girls in a couple of their skills that they're learning, especially with reading, seeing how not having them read to me for 3 weeks has slowed their memory of their ability to read. I am thinking that at the very bare minimum for the summer, we will be having the girls read to us every day. And I might put some kind of a chart, and after they read, 8 days or something like that, then they'll earn an ice cream cone or something like that. Something that will be fun and enjoyable for the summertime, but also be a good motivator for continuing with the reading. And I'm not sure if I want to verbalize it to them as continuing school through the summer, or as just something that we do. Reading is something that we do both for enjoyment and for our minds. So I'm not sure how to talk to them about that yet. I have a little time to decide and figure that out, or figure out some fun activities that we can use as goals and motivators for that. But the thing that I am sure of is that we will be doing something during the summer to keep them reading, so that we don't have to backtrack too far when we start school again in the autumn. Our little guy is definitely adapting great to our new home, which I appreciate a lot. He likes that he can go wherever he wants and explore things, and he's starting to stand and walk along furniture, so he's really been just enjoying exploring and investigating. And he hasn't seemed nervous at any point, or there's not been any anxiety, I guess, about being in an unfamiliar place. The same with the girls for the most part. Every once in a while, they will think they're going into one room and be surprised that they are not where they thought they were. It's all good though. Here in Kentucky, where we live, this has been a record-breaking year for rainfall. The day that we moved was actually torrential downpour. We had a bunch of guys from our church come out to help carry everything from the house into the moving van, and then likewise into the new house. And the amount of mud on the floor of both houses was insane. We are so grateful that they came and were able to help us with that. We could not have done that in short order without them. It was amazing. What probably would have taken us 2 days to load into the truck and 2 days to load out of the truck, unload from the truck. I think the entire process took 2.5 hours, and that included a 45-minute drive or a 40-minute drive from the old place to the new place. So it went so fast, I could not believe it. I do not want to belabor the difficulty of a move for a family of 6. It is difficult, but I will say there's a special kind of joy and motivation in the home, in moving into a new space and knowing that it's yours and you're going to be enjoying it for a long time. There's a certain joy and satisfaction of doing mundane things like finding where your Tupperware is going to go and figuring out where things will be stored, or how to lay out your kitchen, or putting out your favorite rug in the bedroom. All of these little things that seem trivial and passing seem a little more exciting and adventurous. It feels meaningful when you're moving into a new space that you're excited about. Even getting up in the morning and opening the windows and seeing the sunrise. We live on this ridge, and so we get sunrise on one side and sunset on the other side, and both are gorgeous. So there's definitely some enjoyment added to the day, even when you wake up early and have a lot to do. Having your coffee with sunrise pouring in your windows. I don't know, I have not had that anywhere I've lived in a long time. So as an adult, it's fun to see the level of enjoyment and spark it can give your day. Some of my favorite things about our new property are that it is so out in the country that there are not a lot of street lights, and I love looking up at the stars at night and being able to see them, whereas in town we couldn't. I love that if you stand outside in the dark, you can hear cattle lowing from farms nearby. I love that the kids can jump on the trampoline and yell and shout, and it's not bothering anybody at all. I love that sunrise coming in the windows in the morning, and I love seeing the sunset at night. I love being able to leave our blinds open even as it gets dark outside, because our house does not face any other houses and nobody can see in. There's very little traffic, and it's just very private without feeling too secluded. I love that it sits at the very top of a ridge and you can just see so far. The girls say all kinds of funny things about as far as the eye can see, and it's kind of true. Like, everything is beautiful and natural as far as the eye can see. I love that the girls are pointing out the animals that exist in nature around us. We have a robin's nest in our rose archway over our front steps, and we get to see the little blue eggs in there, and we're waiting for little chicks to hatch in there. And the girls like to point out a little chipmunk that keeps visiting the back of the house, and bunnies that like to walk along the property, which I will not be so enamored by once my garden is going. But it's just very nice for the girls. We're also enjoying other things, like Jefferson's softball team has started their games for the year. So this is his second year playing softball ever in his whole life. And he's got games every Monday night. So we've started attending those. He had his first game, and it was a double header. So we came out and fortunately beat the rain. It had sprinkled, but it wasn't enough to rain out the game. So we will be doing that every week, and it's nice to have something away from the chaos to just go and enjoy, even though in some ways it feels like it's taking away time that we could be getting organized or finishing up last renovations at the old house before new people move in. It's kind of nice to have something that you have chosen as an obligation that you have to go do, but that is enjoyable, and you get to just go take your mind off of things. So the girls really enjoyed getting out and doing that as well. They love going to Dad's softball games and cheering him on. And they lost their first game, but they won their second game, which was very exciting to have a win on day one of the season. Well, thank you for letting me talk to you about how we're balancing things these days between unpacking and getting settled in and maintaining our routines. We'll definitely be continuing to push through the unpacking process until we're all settled in, and then we will be showing you some of our projects we're hoping to start here on our little soon-to-be homestead. If you enjoyed this little chat, please consider subscribing. We'll be back with more.